Alright, this is part 2. I took off my clothes because I was sweating just now jogging. So, I'm cooler now. So yeah, now this is part 2. Unsustainable trajectory of humanity. Why did I not write it down? Because if I talk like this, I get better at thinking things. And then I'm going to look back at this video. I'm going to write down the points. So there's going to be maybe part 3 or part 4. But let's get into it. So yeah, we were at people and inflation. So qualifications of new loans, if you are able to pay off your loans, borrowing from the bank and trying to acquire property or trying to acquire this and acquire that. THAT, DAB. I'm gonna go all the alright. So what I'm trying to say, I'll get straight to the point. This is an unsustainable trajectory. What we need to do collectively is to look into all aspects of problems. I know the biggest problem is financial problems. So how do we solve that? Can you cut down? If you can cut down, that means you either sacrifice for lesser, or if you want the same quality, then you have to go get it. You be the manufacturer or the producer. Now this goes back to myself. I said I want to grow tobacco. I said I want to grow coffee. I said I want to get cows for milk, coffee. I want to get tea. And I want to get plain water so that I can cut down on my costs. If I'm self-sufficient with whatever I produce, I could save on my own. And if I know how to mass produce, I could generate income. On a lower price, I bring down the price and I mass manufacture. Why not yet? There are reasons why. So let's not talk about myself first, because the idea is towards a trajectory which is unsustainable. So I've said it already. If you want to cut it down, the cost of price, but still maintain the same quality of life, everybody's got to be their own producer. But that is not for everybody, because some people are living in rent. I don't know what's the available amount of money possible, or what is the borrowed money and the outgoing money. But if you're renting, most likely you're not being able to own. So if you're renting, most probably you are in a not landed property, and we need land to be self-producing. Not unless you've got a huge property and a huge space. You could be renting it. And then you've got grow lights and good minerals, water. Plants need water and soil. You get those nutrients into the soil and the water and the minerals into the soil for the plants to grow. And then next thing you know, you'll be using organic fertilizers or synthetic fertilizers, whatever, it works. But then again, it becomes unsustainable. So by looking back at this video, I'm going to write down the points. So what is the thing? Being self-sustainable, having large enough space to be your own producer, and everybody, especially the young, they could be 2 years old, 3 years old, and you have to implement the interest into them. When you implement the interest into them, and they will slowly pick up their habits and form their personality and knowledge and everyday characteristics into being self-reliant and producible. So it's not just for the young. People being teenagers, being young adults, being middle-aged adults, being old adults, could also pick up such skills of being self-sustainable. Not everybody is doing it. It's not the collective percentage. When we look into an area, we want to know the collective percentage of people being able to be self-sufficient. And not disregarding other plants, because there's so many plant species and some are just for ornamental effects. It's still good. But if it's flowers, it's still good. There's nectar, the bees will come. We are reliant on this world, and the trajectory is not bringing positivity to everyday living. So being self-reliant in terms of growing your own is good enough. Good enough. And next thing we'll talk about being self-sustainable from the young up to the old, in between. Everybody should pick up. But then back again to the topic of not owning a place. That's the thing. If you own a place and there is plants that are really tall, or maybe just, how many is this? 3 meters, 4 meters, 5 meters, 6 meters and beyond. So the overall things can be changed, because if you go small, you can get the big into the small. Or if you go big, you can get the small into the big. Or you go small, you can get the small and the small. Or you go big, you can get the big and the big. It's just all sorts, bruh. The thing I'm talking about is being sustainable. What are the habits? We all require oxygen. If the entire world burns down, where do we get our oxygen? We are losing more and more forest space, and this concrete jungle space is getting more and more high in value. Are you nuts? The rent is just going up. Is it because of taxes? Is it because the cost of the previous is not being able to be covered up, and then you have to implement a higher rate of rental, not unless you can buy the place in a high value place? And is it able to bring in oxygen produced from the plants? Is it being able to attract nectars for the honeybees? Is it able to bring in fruits for fruit plants? Is it being able to import vegetables? Why am I talking about this? What about high tech? No, I'm not trying to disregard the old tech. I'm not trying to disregard the traditional. Because we are mere human beings and we all need to eat and we all need to stay healthy. Oh, I've never heard about people that I want to die in my 30s, I want to die in my 50s, I want to die in my 70s, I want to die in my 100s. I am not you. I talk from my thinking. I want to live up to 200. Alright? So I'm going to disregard about the naysayers that don't agree with me. But don't worry, I won't even get no views. So I have to believe in myself and I have to get my own following. But anyway, that's one thing. Being able to bring nutrition and oxygen and more goodness to wherever human beings go. Right, this is just a point of view. And the next thing would be, if that gets done, the world will be a cooler place. Because there are greater snows and a greater heat, and it's just unsustainable. It's getting more and more unsustainable. Alright, the next thing. If we get that done, we don't have to remove more forest areas. The human areas could be multi-level. You could be at floor 10. It feels like ground floor. You could be at floor 20. It feels like ground floor. You gotta open up your eyes, you gotta open up your mind and go look for more information. Without the internet, where do I go? I go to the library. I depend on my creativity. I depend on what I know. But we have the internet. We have our mobile devices. So why not? Alright, the next thing. If we get that right, what's the next thing though? Increasing of population of animals and human beings. What am I trying to say? It's such a vast topic. Ultimately space. But at this point of time, it's not that they're going to space. It's not good. It's just that they don't care about the rest of the people, or do they? Everybody is their own government in their own mind. So what am I going to say right now? I'm going to pause it at here. Alright, this is 10 minutes and unsustainable trajectory feedback, part 2.